Janganlah.
Dalam line ni kita dengar muzik, kita dengar earphone. So loud music tu dah macam seharian punya. Ya. So
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. I'm Muhammad Hasrul Paino, and our topic today is about noise disease that can cause by the music industry seems to be slightly ignored compared to other acute disease. Exposure to hazardous noise is one of the most common occupational risks. Noise exposure is the primary cause of preventable hearing loss. Noise-induced hearing loss, NIHL, is the second most common cause of hearing loss, following presbycusis. Noise-induced hearing loss, NIHL, is a type of hearing impairment that affects the sensory nerves and is typically characterized by bilateral and symmetrical damage. It is a permanent condition that cannot be reversed. Considering the necessity of research in this field, the present study sought to examine hearing status, noise exposure levels, awareness about acoustic trauma and hearing protection device, and frequency of using such device among musicians. NIOSH established recommended exposure limit, REL, for various hazards on the basis of the best available science and practice. The NIOSH REL for noise is 85 decibels, using the A rating frequency response over an 8-hour average, usually referred to as time-weighted average, TWA. The A rating of sounds level is true to provide a rating that indicates the injurious effects of noise on human hearing. Exposure at or above this level are considered hazardous. The NIOSH REL was developed to assess the risk of hearing loss among industrial workers exposed to steady broadband noise over 8-hour work shift for up to a 40-year working lifetime, and thus may not be completely applicable to assessing the risk to musicians and other music professionals who have irregular and unpredictable sound exposure. The work schedules for musicians vary greatly. They typically play less than 4 hours per day and sometimes only 2 or 3 sessions or work shift per week. The REL established a maximum allowable daily noise dose in percentage. For professional musicians, hearing loss or tinnitus can significantly impair not only their communication and quality of life, but also their career and ability to obtain or maintain a job. Professional musician works and practice in a wide range of settings, including large music halls, theaters, and arenas, as well as smaller clubs and school and also university music rooms. Music-induced hearing loss occurs slowly and over a long period of time, and most musicians do not seek help until they start to experience secondary symptoms such as tinnitus, distortion of sound, deprecussing, and hyperacusis. In addition, negative health consequences are associated with producing high musical sound level. Musicians are at increased risk for both musculoskeletal and vocal health problems when producing high sound level on musical instruments like the piano, trumpet, guitar, or drums. Musicians who play percussion instruments are particularly exposed to excessive level of noise. Potential occupational hearing impairment resulting from noise exposure has been described in classical orchestra and symphonic musician. For the singer, discover that singing may cause increased endolin pressure and thus hearing loss, particularly in the low frequency region.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and I am Muhammad Irfan bin Tuan Abdul Rahim. And hello everyone. So previously my friend just present Hasri, and then I'm going to continue the presentation. So for today, we are going to dive into the adverse health effects of noise exposure, starting with number one as hearing impairment. So prolonged exposure to loud sound can impact our hearing significantly. Symptoms include abnormal loudness in perception, distortion, and even tinnitus. The consequence of hearing loss go beyond physical impairment. They lead to loneliness, depression, and also impaired performance in daily activities. And second, communication interference. Uh, so for communication interference, let's discuss how noise affect our ability to comprehend speech. Noise pollution disrupts our capacity to understand normal speech, causing various personal disabilities, problems with concentration, fatigue, and even interpersonal relationship arise due to communication interference, ultimately impacting our daily lives. And next, did you know that noise can severely impact our sleep patterns too? Sleep patterns. Environmental noise is a major contributor to disturbed sleep. Continuous noise disrupts sleep stages, causing frequent awakening and alteration in sleep depth. The physiological effects are significant, leading to increased blood pressure, heart rate, and decreased alertness the following day. And then we go to cardiovascular disturbance. Long-term exposure to noise affect not just our hearing and also sleep, but also our cardiovascular health. It triggers temporary increase in blood pressure, heart rate, and vasoconstriction. Studies have linked noise exposure to increased risk of cardiovascular disease due to hormonal and nervous system response. And then now let's discuss noise impact on mental well-being. Noise pollution contribute to stress, anxiety, and even aggressive behavior. It can cause a range of adverse effects such as emotional instability and nervousness and also heightened conflicts, ultimately affecting our mental health. Noise doesn't just affect our health, it impairs our cognitive functions and task performance. It decreases motivation, impairs reading attention, and diminishes problem solving abilities. Children, especially, experience deficits in cognitive development due to noise. And lastly, noise-induced annoyance and dissatisfaction lead to negative social behavior. Noise pollution causes a wide range of reactions from agitation to helplessness, impacting social interaction and causing dissatisfaction among individuals. So, in summary, noise pollution poses severe health risks affecting our hearing, sleep, cardiovascular health, mental well-being, and daily performance. Understanding this adverse effect is crucial for implementing effective strategies to mitigate noise-related health issues and promote a healthier environment.
Thank you, Mr. Asri and Mr. Irfan. My name is Muhammad Afzal bin Muhammad Noor. Right now, I would like to discuss on the recommendation on how to overcome the cause that impacted music industry by this noise disease. Employers, music venue operators, school and college, and anyone responsible for music related activities should consider the following recommendation. One, educate musicians and those involved in the industry about the importance of using increased distances between individuals and arrangements of instruments to reduce overall noise exposure during practice and performance. Two, develop a hearing conservation program that includes annual audiometric testing and training about protecting musician hearing. Three, Encourage participation in education and awareness campaigns of music-induced hearing loss. 4. Since music level fluctuates greatly from one practice or performance to another, conduct regular sound level assessment at a reference location and establish an average and a range of music levels during rehearsals and performances. Conduct personal exposure monitoring of performers and expose staff. Assessment should be conducted where practicable by a certified industrial hygienist or an occupational safety and health specialist. 5. If sound level assessments show elevated level within the noise limit of 85 decibel, consider reducing the amount of time musicians and staff are exposed through rotation or offering frequent breaks in quiet areas. 6. Work with musicians and affected workers to identify hearing protection solutions that work best for the individual. A variety of hearing protection options are available from inexpensive foam earplug and potentially more costly product designed specifically for professional musicians and other entertainers. 7. Although more studies are needed to verify the effectiveness of general noise control solution for musician workspace, the musician features may be effective in reducing the overall sound exposure level among musician and staff, um, which include consult with architect, acoustician, and sound engineers to create the best desired and most effective musical workspace. If the workspace for musician or staff is very reverberant, treat certain section of walls and ceiling with sound absorbent material to reduce reverberation time. Higher ceiling also help reduce reverberation for high energy instruments such as brass instrument and percussion. For rehearsal and practice, consider using appropriate size rooms for the number of musicians. Placements, spacing, and use of enclosures can help reduce overall sound levels from certain instruments. If room or venues have hard reflective surfaces, position instruments and speakers to direct sound away from musicians. Musicians and workers in the music industry should consider the following recommendations. 1. When possible, play music at lower levels during individual and group rehearsals. If using amplified speaker in live performance, work with sound engineer to adjust the volume down to desired but acceptable level. 2. If you use in-ear monitor or IEM to listen to vocal and stage instrument, work with your sound engineer and fitting audiologist to reduce sound output to workable levels, especially during practice and rehearsal. 3. Wear hearing protection when appropriate and ask your employer or audiologist about getting custom fitted earplugs that work best for your environment. 4. Have your hearing evaluated annually by an experienced audiologist who understands noise exposures in the music industry. 5. Always be aware of the sound exposure level. An easy and practical way is to use your smartphone and sound meter apps. 6. Give your ears some rest. Ears typically need about 18 hours of quiet after exposure to loud sound in order to return to normal hearing. Take advantage of breaks in quiet areas or whenever possible. Next, for conclusion, long-term exposure to loud sound put musicians at risk of hearing loss. However, due to their inadequate knowledge, most musicians never use protective devices to prevent damage to their auditory system. Noise represents an important public health problem that can lead to hearing loss, sleep disruption, cardiovascular disease, shoulder handicap, reduced productivity in pet teaching and learning, absenteeism, increased drug use and accidents. It can impair their ability to enjoy one's property and leisure time and increases the frequency of antisocial behavior. Noise adversely affects general health and well-being in the same way as does chronic stress. It adversely affects future generations by degrading residential, social, and learning environment with corresponding economic losses. Local control of noise has not been successful in most places. This point out the need of improved method of local control that should include public education, enlightened legislation, and active enforcement of noise, ordinance by local law enforcement officials. Part of the solution may require federal or state legislation aimed at supporting local effort or the restoration of federal funding for the Office of Noise Abatement and Control. So that's all for me. Thank you.